Could the Democrats' lack of resistance be a green light for tyranny? Donald Trump has been president for almost 2 months. What, 5 weeks, 4 weeks? No, it's been 3. It's 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. Holy cow, that's how fast the time has flown. And here we are. He was sworn in on January 20th. It's February, what is the date today? The 3rd. And where are the Democrats? You know, I've written 2 pieces and done 2, kind of major rants about this. Where are the Democrats? But here we are, on the rise of a 44-year campaign to reverse middle-class advances under the New Deal in the Great Society. Republicans have been promoting, both in Congress and in the Supreme Court, a basically neo-fascist agenda. And now it is fully here. Trump is nakedly breaking the law right in front of the entire country, just as progressive Democrats have been predicting. Not a single elected Republican has had the courage to try to stop this. He's illegally firing career civil service prosecutors in the DOJ and agents of the FBI. The principal message that he's conveying is Donald Trump, his family, and his friends are above the law. Investigate them and you will lose your job. He's illegally fired inspectors general who search out and prosecute corruption within their own agencies. He's illegally impounded money appropriated by Congress. He's illegally imposing tariffs against Canada and Mexico. Yes, there are specific rules. Presidents can impose tariffs, but only for 4 reasons. And he's not meeting any of those reasons. So he's illegally imposing tariffs against Mexico and Canada, turning our friends against us, just like Putin has dreamed of for years. USAID. This was created by John Kennedy and Congress. Congress authorized this, so you can't just take it down. But that's what Elon Musk says he's going to do. He's going to kill it off. In fact, there's nobody at USAID offices today because Elon Musk told him not to come in. When did we elect Elon Musk again? Please remind me. And now this South African billionaire has apparently downloaded all of your and my private information from the federal agencies responsible for making $6 trillion a year in payments, including all of the information about his competitors. And this was all done with the explicit permission of Treasury Secretary and billionaire Scott Bessent, who was put into his job with the votes of 15 compliant Democratic senators. Senator Patty Murray, who voted against Bessent, said, all of your most sensitive data and our country's checkbook are now in the hands of an unelected billionaire. This is the most corrupt administration in history and is putting our economy and government in serious jeopardy. It's time to speak out and fight back. You think? Hell, it's way past time to speak out and fight back. I mean, it started with the Reagan Revolution. This is not some radical thing that just popped up last week. This started in 1981, when Republicans claimed that corporations were persons with rights guaranteed under the Bill of Rights. Democrats could have spoken out, progressives did, but instead, Bill Clinton encouraged corporate contributions to his New Democrats. When Republicans said businesses and corporations bribing politicians was legal and could even be considered tips, Democrats could have spoken out, but other than the progressives, didn't. Instead, the problem solvers and many others simply put their hands out. When Republicans gutted union protections, borrowed $34 trillion to fund tax breaks for billionaires, and ended support for college tuition, Democrats could have spoken out, but other than the progressives, didn't. Instead, many moved to the center. When Republicans fought voting rights and purged over 50 million voters from the rolls over the past decade, giving Trump the White House last year, Democrats could have raised hell, but other than the progressives, didn't. Instead, they abandoned red states, often not even bothering to run candidates. When Republicans denied climate change and went to the mat to protect the hundreds of billions in subsidies for the fossil fuel industry every year, Democrats could have spoken out. Progressives did. But instead, Democrats complained about disruptive groups protesting pipelines. And when Republicans raised an entire AstroTurf Tea Party to fight progressive efforts to put a Medicare for all option into Obamacare, Democrats could have fought for their constituents, but they didn't. I mean, progressives tried to. But instead, what we got was privatized Obamacare and weak negotiations. In each case, progressive Democrats were ahead of the curve, and corporate Democrats either ignored or even obstructed needed reforms. Republicans, meanwhile, have been steamrolling ahead ever since 1971 when Lewis Powell laid out his memo. And now we're just months from finishing off our democratic republic, silencing all voices of dissent and guaranteeing, like Trump promised, that we may never be able to again even vote in a meaningful election with candidates who aren't pre-vetted by billionaires. The greatest danger America is facing today, because Democratic messaging and outrage have been so weak for so long, is that average people won't realize what's happening until it's too late. Meanwhile, the leadership in the Democratic Party, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, have both come out and said, we're not going to fight every single outrage. Really? Trump is working to make it as hard as possible to make his to fight his fascist vision of America by attacking, threatening, and suing reporters and media outlets, while his billionaire buddies in AIPAC threaten to fund primary challenges against any politician, Democrat or Republican, who dares to challenge them. And the threats are working. The media is walking on pins and needles, trying to avoid pissing off Trump or Musk. The FCC just launched an investigation that could lead to the end of NPR and PBS. Major networks are paying off Trump to settle frivolous lawsuits. Democrats are treating Vichy Republicans as if they were good faith colleagues during normal times. These are not normal times. Our democracy is hanging by a thread. Democrats campaigned on the notion that Trump was a fascist. They need to start acting like they believe that, because it's true. Before Trump and Musk finalized the Orban and Putin governmental model, making any kind of response impossible. Democrats need to shut down the House. They need to shut down the Senate. They need to challenge Mike Johnson's speakership. They need to fight every unanimous consent vote. They need to use quorum calls to bring floor business to a standstill. They need to put holds on every Trump nominee, even for things like naming post offices or non-controversial positions. They need to hold a major press conference every day and coordinate with Democrats across the nation to amplify that day's message across local and national media. And they need to organize political guerrilla theater and mass protests. And we all need to be calling our members of the House and Senate. 202-224-3121. Write it down. Put it on your refrigerator with a magnet. 202-224-3121. It only took Hitler 53 days to use legal means to turn Germany from a functioning democracy into a dictatorship. And we have officially gone way too far on this. And if we don't stop Trump and Musk and Project 2025, if Democrats don't step up and stop this insanity, we're going to lose our country. We're going to become, the next Hungary, the next Russia, with a strongman dictator and a timid, billionaire-owned political party on his side, and a bunch of frightened people on the other side.